So the question today is, how do I start a conversation with a professional at a networking event?
Yeah, so I get asked this question a lot.
A lot.
I think hello is a great way to start. What do you think, Justyn?
I think you're right. I think I feel like half the battle really is mustering up the courage to just go up to somebody. They're
Yeah.
probably just as nervous as you are at these networking events. And ultimately, just being able to get that courage to go up to someone and say hello is probably half the battle.
Right, so I think it's just walking up to the person and saying thank you for being here today.
Yeah,
And just starting with a question, thank you for being here today. How is your day going? I think that opens up the conversation right there.
absolutely. I mean, I think that there's even some low-hanging fruit of things that you can always talk about. What is the person wearing that seems safe? Like, is there a cool tie or a really interesting dress, or terrific earrings? Something like that you can possibly mention. Think of obviously weather is something I think everyone gravitates to, but trying to get also over past that stuff as quickly as possible, and maybe getting into other things that are kind of safe zones too. Things like politics,
Right.
that type of stuff is can be sometimes an okay thing,
Hmm.
as long as you're not trying to push who you're voting for or something like that.
Right.
Those are some topics that I always go to. How about you?
Yeah, so I mean, I tend to talk about something that's happening in the environment.
Hmm.
So if there was a speaker before, you can ask like, what did you like best about that talk? Or so finding something else in the environment that you can talk about. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
so that's like a really easy way to start off the conversation. And you
Mhm.
mentioned about the fear and the courage, like just to go up. And I think recognizing that you can have fear and you can still do it. So a lot of times people, they have the fear and they stop themselves from going because they feel like if they do it, something bad is going to happen. But you can still have that fear and you can still walk up to the professional and say, hey, it's really nice to meet you and start a
Yeah.
conversation.
Absolutely. I mean, to that point too, with some of the networking events as well, if possible, bring a friend. So if you have somebody with you, it can oftentimes feel safer and seem more comfortable when someone can go up. I think one other thing too is like starting a conversation with professionals as well in a networking event. If you ever see that somebody is alone, it's always great to extend an invite for them to join your circle.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be something where you're actually making somebody else potentially feel more comfortable, and you're going to meet somebody, and that conversation will kick off just so much easier.
I definitely agree. It's a way for you to actually be of service to someone else, and I think it will also make you more comfortable. Uh,
Absolutely, yeah,
yes.
because you kind of feel like you've got some control over it.
Hmm. And I
Hmm.
think the other big thing is listening, right? So I think starting off with an open-ended question, so the person will, it's not a yes/no answer, so they talk about something, so if you ask them, what did you like best about the presentation, and listening to what they have to say, rather
Right.
than having like 5 or 6 questions prepared that you're going to be rattling off and not staying with the person, because I think being present there for the person is really important.
Absolutely. Because there's things also that in listening you may not understand or you've never heard before, and that's another conversation piece. Oh, I've never heard of what that might be, or whatever the person has said, or I don't even know anything about high frequency trading. What does that look like? What's that like? What's your position that you do there?
And even reflecting things back to the person. So what I
Yeah,
hear you say, Justin, is that, I should ask questions more about, something that the person said right before I started responding, right?
right.
Hmm.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
so reflecting it back. So I think these are some great tips. Definitely, I would encourage students to try them out. Go to networking events and try them out, and let us know the results you get.
Yeah, we look forward to hear from you.
All right, thank you.